Hi guys, James here, welcome back to my channel. Today we are playing with some makeup. It has been a long time since I've actually done any makeup on camera. I've just been doing declutter videos and everything like that, and then my face had a breakout. I do have some dry patches still, but I'm just going to sit down and play with makeup. I'm not going to wait until this all heals itself. I'm so excited. We are going to be playing with this brand new palette to me, not to the makeup community, because it's like 2-3 weeks old, and in the makeup community that's old. This is the Cosmo Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, and I'm so excited. I got it 2 days ago from Sephora. I did do a little Sephora haul video if you want to watch that and see what else I got. Now this palette is vegan cruelty free and it has a 12-month expiry date, and I'm just double checking what the price is on my phone, because I have the Sephora app. It is $87 Australian. So that's how much I paid for it. I missed the sale and I forgot to use my Sephora bonus points to get 10% off. So I paid for everything full price when I could have saved myself like $40. This is what the palette itself looks like. Really pretty packaging. I love the color of it. It is like a cardboard, and it has like a soft matte feel. You can feel the textures of the writing and the little stars on it. I do feel like this palette might be one of those palettes that's hard to keep clean, but I think I might actually keep the unicarton. I don't normally keep the unicartons to my eyeshadow palettes, but this one is just, I don't know, I really like the packaging, so I want to keep it as clean as possible. Let's open her up, because I'm just talking a whole lot of stuff that we don't need to listen to right now. This is the beautiful palette. Beautiful color story, love this. It is a neutral palette with some pops of colors in the shimmers. There are some cool tone browns, and then there's some warm tones on the end here as well. This is a 12 pan eyeshadow palette. It has 7 shimmers, and then 5 mattes. Actually no, it's got 6 shimmers. Sorry, I forgot. This shade here, Galaxy, it looks like a shimmer, but it's a matte with glitter reflexes that have like pinks, purples, and some blues. So yeah, 6 and 6, sorry, my bad. And with that, guys, let's get into it. It has been a very long intro to this video, so I do apologize. I have primed my eyelids and done my eyebrows. Now for brows, I did use this W7 little brow gel slash Ballerina. This is what the doe foot applicator looks like, and this is in the shade medium brown. And then for eye primer, I did use this Beauty Creations eye primer. I'm almost out of this one. This is in the shade Ballerina Girl. So that's what I've done on my face. I'm not gonna like mention everything else base wise. I will link that all down below. Now I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm basically just gonna focus on the eyes, and I'll do the base and stuff off camera. But I do have a couple for Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighters. So I've got this little highlighter palette, which is the Moonchild highlighter palette, which I want to use on the cheeks. It's a beautiful color story, and I think the shade Blue Eyes will fit in with the look that I have in mind. And then I do have this loose Anastasia Beverly Hills loose pigment that is in the shade Snowflakes. I got this in a mystery box from Ali Dawson, and then I actually got this from Tammy and Bonnie, who are friends and subscribers and supporters and all that good stuff. So they sent this to me when I mentioned that I wanted it and I couldn't find it here in Australia, so they were very nice to send that to me. So those two things I will do on camera. Everything else I will probably do off camera. That's not eyeshadow wise, because like I said, I want this video to be not too long, and it's already been 9 minutes and I've just been talking a lot. So let's get straight into it. Alright guys, so I think I'm gonna do 2 different looks, because I think it requires me to do that. So I think for one eye I'm going to use some of these deeper tones with this blue shimmer, and then for the other eye I'm going to do like a neutral with this little pink moment here. So that's my plan. I'm going to start with the blue because I love blue, and I think I'm going to start with the shade Galaxy, which is this one here. Now let me zoom in the camera so you guys can see what I'm doing a little bit better. If you see any texture on my face, it's because I've had a breakout, so I apologize, but I want you to see what I'm doing. So we're going to dip in with a Morphe little synthetic brush. This is from the Morphe X Nikkia Dragon collection, and this is just a nice fluffy brush that I like to use a lot. I'm dipping into the shade Galaxy. There is quite a bit of pickup in that shade, so I've just tapped in once, and I don't know if the camera, yeah, there's a bit of kick up already, so that's not a huge issue, but I do want to mention it because some people like to know if there's any like kick up in the pan when you dip a brush in. I'm just going to apply that on the outer edge. It does have a little bit of glitter reflexes, which I'm not really used to. I don't really use matte shades with glitter in it, but I really do like the look of this shade, so we're going to use it. going to stamp that on the outer edge, and then I'm going to blend out and up towards the brow. That is pigmented. Look how pretty that is. Now there's a little fallout on my face. That's why I always do my eyes first, and then I do the base after, just because it is very hard to clean off some eyeshadows when it's on your cheeks. Oh, that's really pretty, and that's blending out nicely. Look at that. Oh, that's stunning. Alright, I usually actually start with lighter shades, but I thought I'll start with a deeper shade. And I usually do the lighter shades just because I like to blend out like the transition shade. And then I usually just use a smaller brush and blend out the deeper shade with a smaller Morphe brush. But today we are starting a little bit differently. Look how pretty that is. Now guys, when this palette launched, I was so intrigued. I couldn't wait to watch makeup tutorials because I really fell in love with the advertising, all the reels on Instagram from Anastasia Beverly Hills promoting this palette, and I was like, I really want to swatch it in store. But being here in Australia, sometimes palettes and launches don't come to the Sephora's in Australia. Sometimes we have to wait a couple of weeks to a couple of months. For instance, One Size Beauty, that first launched in the US Sephora stores, and they weren't shipping anything to Australia. A year or two later, we actually do have the One Size Beauty brand, but they don't sell all the products in our Sephora. For instance, some of the hot pink blushes they don't sell, and also the pink setting powder they don't sell in store. So you can't pick everything up, which means I can't swatch everything. I would have to just buy it online and hope that I actually like the formula, which I have done before with previous Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I have been let down. So I was really excited that I actually saw it in the Sephora last week, and when I did see it last week, I didn't have the extra money that I did 2 days ago. So I managed to go back 2 days ago and it was still in stock. I also picked up some other items. I can spend hours at Sephora. I look at everything. I smell all the moisturizers, all the perfumes, and I spend all my time swatching all the eyeshadow palettes just because I have tried to spend less and only buy things that I really think will add to my collection makeup wise and moisturizer and skincare wise as well. That is a beautiful shade. I think I want to kind of do a wing. I haven't done one of those in a long time, so I'm just going to switch to this small Morphe M506 brush, and I'm just going to drag out this shade that I've applied on my eyes. I'm not adding any extra, I'm just doing a slight little drag out wing with that extra product that's on my eyes. Oh, that's pretty. I have not done a wing in such a long time. I used to do these all the time, but it's been a couple months since I've done one of these types of looks. Oh, that is pretty. Now, I don't know if I'll do a wing on this side, but I really want to do one with this deep shade because I think it's going to look really pretty with that blue shimmer. Oh, that's blended out so nicely. Look at that. And guys, I am back, and this is what the eye looks like. So I just used that one shade and just dragged it all the way across the eyelid and kind of grading it out. Trying to shear it out to the inner corner. That's what I'm trying to say. And I actually think it looks really pretty. I didn't think I would just use that one shade, but I am loving how pretty that shade is. So I think I'm not going to use any other mattes. I think I'm just going to go into that beautiful blue shimmer here, which is the shade Supercluster. And I'm just going to apply that with my finger onto the middle of the eyelid and then blend out those two shades. And I think that's the look done. So let me just quickly apply it with my finger. Oh my god, look how pretty that is. I always apply my shimmers with a finger. That's just the way I do it. Some people do it with a flat packing brush, but I just find it doesn't give the same impact. Like, look at that shimmer on the eye. That is stunning against that deep blue. And guys, that is what the shimmer looks like. I am loving this look. So I'm just going to use this fluffy brush that I initially started with, and I'm just going to dip into the first shade Galaxy, which is the deep shade with the glitter, and I'm just going to apply that on the outer edge where the shimmer and matte meet. That's how I always blend out my outer corners. I don't want to blend out the shimmer, so I just tap on that shade. Then I go in with the same brush and dip into the shimmer version, get a little bit of shimmer, tap off the excess, and then I tap over where that matte shade was just laid down. So they kind of blend together. And that is how I blend my mattes and the shimmers. And guys, that literally takes 30 seconds. It's done. That is basically this eye done. I'm going to do an inner corner highlighter a bit later, but I'll do that after I do my base and the bottom lash line. So let's go on to the other eye, and I'm going to start with the same brush, but it is a clean one. So I've got 2 or 3 of these actually, so I'm going to use a clean one. but it's the same brush. So I'm going to start with the shade Comet, which is this one here. Then I'm going to go in with this deeper shade on the outer edge, and then for shimmer I'm going to go in with the shade Supernova and put that on the eyelid, similar to what I've done on this side. Now I don't think I'm going to do a wing on this side. I'm just going to do what I've been doing lately. So we'll have a wing side on this side, and then for this eye we're going to do like an oval shape. So let's do that. We're going to go in with the shade Comet. Wow, there's a lot of pickup on that brush, and there is a little bit of kick up in the pan, but nothing crazy. So let me just tap off the excess. I'm going to just tap down this eye primer because it is getting a little creased. I do have hooded eyes, so I do get a little bit of creasing, but nothing too crazy. I just tap the primer with my eyelid and it goes away. And wow guys, this brown is so pigmented. Look how pretty that is. So I'm just doing the same type of motion that I started with this eye. I'm just not going to do a wing on this one. Now guys, please leave a comment down below if you've tried this palette, or if you've tried any Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, what palettes you've tried and what your thoughts are on them. Like I said, I have previously had two palettes that I didn't really like, and that was mainly because the shimmers didn't really apply very well and they kind of had a lot of fallout, and over time it would kind of fall out all over your cheeks. So that's why I didn't like those palettes. The shimmer formula was different to the ones in this palette, so I do have to mention that, and because of that, that's why I always swatch anything high-end makeup related or expensive makeup if I can before I purchase it, and I watch a lot of makeup tutorials, just because in the past I have purchased Pat McGrath palettes and stuff like that that are very expensive. I think a full-size Pat McGrath palette is $210 or $20 Australian, and the shimmers in the Pat McGrath palettes just fell out all over my cheek. Mattes blended out really nicely, but it was the shimmers that I couldn't work with the Pat McGrath palette, so I decluttered all my Pat McGrath palettes. I'm loving that shade, blending out like a dream. I love a really rich brown warm shade, and that's what this shade is giving me, which I am loving, and it is really easy to blend out and build up as well. If you want like a smoky outer corner, that is a perfect shade. So I'm really happy how that's performing. I'm just going to go off camera and blend that out, and then we can continue with the next shade. And guys, I am back, and this is what the eye looks like. So I did go in with that shade all across my eyelid. I did kind of leave this sparse just because the shimmer is going to be there anyway, but I did put it all across the eyelid into the inner corner just because I really wanted that shimmer to kind of stand out against like a darker shade. Now we're going to go into the shade Mars, which is the really deep brown terracotta shade, and I'm going to put that on the outer corner and also into the crease just to really give it a bit more depth. So we're just going to apply that here, stamp it like I did with the other shade, and then I'll blend as I go, and that is already making this look 10 times better. I really love a nice deep outer corner. Wow, that shade's blending out nicely. Okay, so now I'm just going to drag that across the crease and into the inner corner ever so slightly, give it a little bit more depth. Nothing too crazy, just a very simple neutral eye look with a pop of shimmer on the eyelid itself. That has blended out so quickly. That took literally 30-40 seconds. Wow, I really love the mattes from this palette. I didn't swatch them in store because you can't really judge an eyeshadow palette from matte swatches, but wow, I'm really impressed with this formula. Very impressed. Loving that. And guys, I'm finished with that shade Mars. I am really loving how easy that was to blend out. So now we're going to go into my favorite shimmer in this palette, which is the shade Supernova. I've been watching people apply this for the last week on their eyes, and I really want to play with it. So I'm going to apply it with my finger. Oh my god, it feels so buttery and creamy. This is stunning. I will actually include like a swatch of all the shimmers on my arm later, but I just didn't want to do it before I got into this palette. Oh my goodness, look how pretty that is. This palette is my favorite palette that they have ever released. I haven't purchased a lot of their palettes, but I can appreciate a color story, and this color story is beautiful, but the actual looks that you can get with this palette is stunning. Like, it's got neutrals, but then it's got these beautiful pops of colors with the shimmers, and it's just so versatile. If you want to go out on the night using this palette, you can with those shimmers, or you can just use this palette to do an everyday look if you're going to the office or anything like that. So I think this palette is great for traveling, and it kind of gives you everything you need. And guys, this is what my eye looks like with that shade Supernova. I'm blown away with that shade. So now we're just going to go in with that shade Mars, the deepest brown shade in this palette, and we're just going to blend those two shades together. I'm just going to blend out the outer corner like I did with the other side. Just the same type of motion. Pick it up on the brush and tap it on. I'm not actually swiping the brush at all because I don't want to knock off any of that shimmer. We're just going to tap ever so slightly, I'm going to do the top of the crease as well, just to really deepen out the outer corner and highlight how pretty that shimmer shade is. And now I'm just going in with that Supernova shade, and I'm just going over that matte shade and doing the same motion, tapping it on and blending out those two shades. So I'm really happy with the way that looks. That is basically the eye done. Very, very simple look. I've tapped into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shades out of this palette. So there are 7 shades I haven't touched yet, but I might tap into some of these shades after I've done my base. So I'm just going to go off camera now and do my base. I'll come back and we can do the bottom lash line and complete this look, but I'm really happy with the way it looks so far. And guys, I am back, and this is what I look like now. I've done my base, I've done my blush, bronzer, contour, concealer, all that type of stuff, setting powder, and I am really happy with the way it looks. And now we're going to go back into this palette. So for the bottom lash line, I'm going to do a very simple look. Dark brown on the outer edge on this side, and then I'm going to go in with the matte black bluish glitter shade on the outer corner on this side, and as I go in the inner corner, I'm just going to lighten it up. So that's what we're going to do. We'll start with the brown side, and I'm going to go into the shade Mars first. So where's my pencil brushes? We're going to go in with my Ali Dawson, what's this one? E36 brush, and going to dip into Mars. I'm going to only dip in a little bit at a time because I don't want any fallout on my base, because we've worked very hard to get it to this stage. And I'm just going to apply that on the outer corner and blend out as I go. Alright, very happy with that. We're going to go into the lighter shade Comet, which is the first shade that I used on this eye. It is just the lighter brown shade, and we're going to put that in the inner corner and blend as I go. Alright, really happy with that. That's basically that eye done. Now we're going to go in with the same brush, just cleaned off in front of me on my paper towel, and we're going to go into the shade Galaxy, which is that beautiful matte iridescent glitter shade. And I'm going to put that on the outer edge. Now I did sharpen out that wing with a wet wipe, so I'm not really going to connect those two shades together. I'm just going to blend it out to the outer edge, but I don't think I'll connect it like I did with this side, just because I really want that sharp wing to be there. Alright guys, the inner corner is done, and now I'm just blending out the edges, and I still can't get over how good these matte shades are blending. So guys, this is what my eyes look like. I think I'm finished with this palette. I'm really loving the look. I think I'm going to put something in the waterline because I think it needs something. So we're going to go in with the Colourpop liner in the shade Peach Fuzz. This is the cream gel liner, and I'm just going to go in with this nude shade, really nice peachy nude, and I'm going to put that on the nude side. And then for the blue side, I'm going to use this Sephora eyeliner, which is in the shade Peacock Blue. So we'll do the neutral side first. I do like these Colourpop cream gel liners. They really do apply nicely. Alright, finished with that shade. Now my eyes are watering on that side, which is always fun. And now we're just going to apply this beautiful blue shade in the bottom lash line. I know this is a very vibrant shade, but I really want to try it out. And I did buy this liner at the same time I bought the palette, so I think it's perfect to use in this video. And wow, this liner is applied very, very nicely and smoothly. It's actually applied better than my Colourpop one, which is a big surprise because I always like the Colourpop ones. And these do not budge down once they dry. So very happy with that liner, and I think it does add a nice little pop of colour in the waterline on this side. And guys, the eyes are almost done. I'm just going to pop in a little bit of an inner corner highlighter. I'm just spraying my brush with my Morphe setting spray. We're going to go in with this Anastasia Beverly Hills Moonchild highlighter palette. I was going to use the loose highlighter, but I'm going to use this palette. I'm going to go into the shade Blue Eyes because I think it will complement both eyes very nicely. I'm just going to stamp that on with this little packing pencil brush from the Blend Brush Ali Dawson collection. Oh, that is so pretty. I love a good bright inner corner highlighter, and this shade is delivering on that. So very happy with that. Oh, loving that. Now the other side. And wow, that is actually mixing with that pink purple shimmer, and I'm really, really happy with that. And guys, this is basically the finished look. I'm just going to go off camera, apply some highlighter on my cheeks. I used the same shade out of this palette that I did in the inner corner. I'm going to do some lashes and some lipstick, and I'll come back and I'll show you the final look. Alright guys, I am back, and this is the final look. I am really, really, really happy with the way it turned out. This palette is amazing. I'm so happy I picked it up. I put some dramatic lashes on from W7. These are in the style Walk of Shame. I love a dramatic lash. I don't actually actually wear mascara, so I always rely on lashes, and these lashes just really complete this look. I think this side is my favorite just because I really love like a grungy smoky blue look, and this eye is giving me everything that I want out of that. But this eye is also really pretty as well. Let me just look down so you can see the shimmer on the eyes and the actual final look. Really happy. Blended out the bottom lash line a little bit off camera. I do have a little bit of texture under this eye in particular. It's giving me Sahara Desert, but we're just going to ignore that. For the lips, I just used W7 lip liner. And then I went in with this beautiful Sephora gloss, and that's in the shade of Wild. This is just a pinky purple glitter gloss, and I did purchase this glitter at the same time I purchased the palette, and I actually think it complements this look very nicely as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it's not too long. I do tend to talk a lot, but I will try and edit it down so it's not too long. If you do enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, and also check out my Instagram and TikTok because I do post on there occasionally. And with that, guys, until next time, stay safe and I'll see you later. All my love. Bye.